Yo, what's good? I'm Jess Murillo, longtime creative, marketing professional, philosophy enthusiast, and bald girl. Living through life's experiences, I've figured out our power is in our perspective and that we are the makers of our own reality. Experiencing a full life is all about the way you look at things and how you use those ideas to create your world. On this podcast, we're going to dive into different theories, stories, and philosophies that help you peel back the layers and expose things differently. Showing up here means breaking you free from the shell that has been keeping you small. It's kind of like if a marketing teacher with a crafting hobby and passion for philosophy started a podcast. So if you can wrap your head around that, buckle up, sit back, open your mind, and get ready to break bare of the limiting mindsets that keep us from making the best of this life. This is the Breaking Bare Podcast. Hey, welcome to the Breaking Bare Podcast. I am so glad you're here. Before I get to the grit of why this podcast exists, I wanted to introduce myself so, you could get to know who you're going to be listening to. My name is Jess. I don't actually think my name matters because I believe I am so much more than my name, just like I believe you are, more than your name. But for formalities, Jess Murillo, and I am committed to living in a raw and real nature. And what that means is that I am devoted to living as I am and accepting my current state of being, and likewise, not judging you and your current state of being. Because I believe that my unique purpose on this earth is to make you feel at home with yourself. I also want to add that I do that imperfectly because that is life as a human. I'm not a saint, but I will get into my story here so we can get to know each other and you can kind of see where I'm coming from. When I was 21, I lost all my hair. I say lost because that way it's implied that I'll find it again. But regardless of whether I do or do not, I had to go through an ultimate humbling of my ego. And that prompted a true soul search, which, let's be real, it never really ends. But essentially, I was stripped bare of my identity. And after experiencing all that, what I learned was I don't really need an identity to exist in the world and be happy. I could be completely anonymous, which goes against our culture. And everyone is taught to label and to be like and to define and tribalize. It's literally part of our genetic code, and it has helped us to survive. But it's not necessary. And given that, I actually look at my hair loss as an amazing blessing in my life. I feel like I took away from that whole experience this unique ability to uncover alternatives and see opportunity. I realized that my life is all about the stories I'm telling myself. So, yes, if you're wondering, you're listening to the voice of a bald girl. And I can list off all the things that you could consider my identity, like I'm also a formally trained photographer. I am a kick-ass marketing professional. I'm a wizard crafter, a philosophy enthusiast who is married to an immigrant. And despite having a hyper-analytical mind, I get a bit woo-woo from time to time, but none of those things are actually who I am. Hey there, maker. Feeling a little heavy lately? The world can do that to you. Whatever it is that's bugging you, I wanted to tell you about a new corner of the internet where you can lay your burdens down unconditionally. If you find yourself needing an outsider's perspective, or you feel like you have to get something off your chest or hash something out, but you don't really know who to turn to, I get it, and I've been there. I'm no expert, but I do know the loneliness of not having a shoulder to lean on or an unbiased opinion, and I don't want that for anyone. So I'd like to invite you to Dear Jess, a new corner of the internet where you can virtually scream into a void or get a thoughtful response to something you're ruminating over by yours truly. If there's something grinding your gears or stuck in your craw, let it all out here. I'll lend an ear and respond however you choose, or not. Simply fill out the form, press submit, and wait for your reply. Don't be shy, all topics are welcome. Give it to me, I can take it. So if you are interested in sharing some secrets, visit www.ladyandlionco.com and click on the tab, Dear Jess. Pardon the interruption, but I wanted to share a mindful moment brought to you by Lady and Lion Co. Lady and Lion Co. is my lifestyle brand all about balancing our ego with our higher self. Part of balancing these parts of ourselves is practicing mindfulness. If you're not familiar with mindfulness, you're in for a real treat. Take a moment to experience it. Wherever you are, I want you to take in a deep breath and hold it for 3 seconds. Now release. As you're releasing your breath, take a moment to think of how connected your breath is to the rest of the earth. You just inhaled oxygen, which was filtered by trees, and you turned it into carbon dioxide for the trees to in turn breathe. You just fed a tree. By supporting the life of a tree, you are supporting the hundreds of animals and ecosystems existing in that tree, the nutrients that tree produces for the other plants around it, the products generated from that tree, such as teas, herbs, spices, oils, papers, lumber, and so much more. With this one breath, you are supporting life, and you should give yourself permission to feel that power. You are breathing with a tree, which is evidence the universe is on your side. As you go about your day, stop for a moment and think about how your breath is giving life to not just you, but hundreds of species across the globe. You are magic. You are harmony. And when you feel your life in sync with the rest of Earth, life seems to make sense. Enjoy breathing life into the universe today. For more moments like this one and creative content, visit www.ladyandlionco.com. That's ladyandlionco.com. So to break down the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast and what this is going to be about, I have always struggled at knowing what my gift is because, not to toot my own horn, but I have so many talents and I'm truly blessed in that regard, but it's a blessing and a curse because I think there are so many facets that it can be a bit overwhelming for not just me, but other people too. But then I think that's also just kind of being a person. That's what a person is. And I don't need to be wrapped in a pretty little box with a bow on top. I can be this organic, free form ball of stuff. However, I kind of thought about it more. And if I were to wrap it all into one thing, I'm really great at perspective. I think it's my superpower. Being a creative, that's kind of what we do. is bring a unique perspective or aesthetic to the table. And that's my game. Of course, I have blind spots, but in general, I'm good at just looking at things from all angles. So like outside of art and creativity, I feel I can see the other side and zoom out to conceptualize an entire situation and bring unique points into whatever conversation I'm in, whether that's reasoning with someone and seeing it from their vantage point or kind of just bringing a new focal point altogether. Whatever it is, though, I challenge the norm. And something my mom said to me one time kind of stuck with me was, my mom doesn't say things like this to me, so that's could be another reason why, but she said, you see things that no one else sees. And I kind of took that to heart because I don't feel like anyone has ever credited me with that before. And I think it's valuable. And that's kind of where it starts. So I guess to get to the point, this is a place where we show up to learn about new perspectives in hopes of changing our points of view, to consider new ways of life, and to shed the limitations that our own formed opinions pose on our life's experience. We'll be talking about woo things like vibes, or the zodiac, or ego versus our higher self, but also learn tools to help us through experiences and explore mindfulness and philosophy and make us feel more comfortable with where we're at in the world. So it's not going to be all woo-woo. There are tactical things that you will be able to take away from this, but I am not necessarily an expert on, but I'm reporting to you in hope of us all seeing things in a new light. There will be interviews of people who may have a very different life and whose shoes I'd like to get into and uncover their perspectives. Ultimately, what I think it all comes down to is that whoever you are listening out there in the world, hear this. You are lucky and, dare I say, privileged. Even if you don't think you are, I'll prove it to you right now. The fact that you have a device that is playing this into your ears is reason enough to prove me right. And I want you to feel empowered by that, despite all your circumstances. That's right, you heard me. Despite whatever it is you're going through, you are in a good position, and I hope to expose that to you in empowering ways right here. And that, my beloveds, is what Breaking Bear is. It's about owning your life and taking your power back and freeing yourself from the stories that keep you disempowered. It's about learning tools to help you live in the present and own your story and make you feel at home in yourself. It's about finding yourself again by shining light on your darkness and helping you see that the dark is serving you too, just as much as all the light is. And it's starting to accept that darkness is part of you too. And instead of covering it up, you have to get to know it. So now that you know a little bit about me and why I'm here, let's get to stripping down bare and breaking free from these stories. Here we go. Thanks for tuning in to the Breaking Bear podcast. If you could do me a solid and think of one person in your life who needs this message, could you forward this episode to them with a loving note referencing why you think they should hear this and that you're thinking of them? You would absolutely make my life and be contributing to Serious Good Vibes. My goal and vision for this podcast is to help empower people by facilitating connections and sharing perspectives. so people don't feel so alone in their experience. But I cannot do that without your help in spreading the word. There's a reason you heard this today. So if it raised your vibe, then this is a perfect opportunity to spread love and give the gift of higher consciousness. Thanks again for listening, and as always, I am sending you so much love. I know I just said vibes like 3 times, but I meant it each time. Anyway, hope to hear from you soon, and until next time.